Warnings that Britain would be thrown into travel chaos by the beast from the east cold snap this evening have been mocked by commuters on social media, insisting train firms and authorities overreacted to forecasts. A yellow warning has been put in place for vast swaths of the UK as meteorologists said the country could be hit by the worst cold weather since 1991. Up to 6 in of snow is expected to blanket the southeast, Midlands and northeast tomorrow morning, while 8 in could fall on Wednesday. Earlier today, hundreds of thousands of commuters in the southeast traveling home from London were told to complete their journeys by 6 p.m. to ensure they get home. While Kent County Council said a snow emergency has been declared. But despite hundreds of trains being cancelled, alongside dozens of flights, many people took to social media to ask what all the fuss was about. One woman wrote, "Pleased to report the predicted Armageddon if you dared travel after 6 p.m. didn't happen. Southeastern got usual train." Photographs taken in London's busiest stations also appeared to show a normal number of commuters waiting for trains. A woman writing earlier this evening said the reaction to the cold was so ridiculous, adding, "Normal winter weather. Not such a dramarama." Earlier today, British Airways cancelled over 60 short-haul flights either departing or arriving from London Heathrow because of the severe weather. Supermarket shoppers, meanwhile, were reporting huge queues amid claims of panic buying over fears of widespread travel chaos. In the UK, as forecasters warn the country could see its coldest weather in 27 years. Bitterly cold temperatures of as low as -12 C 10 F are expected to cause power cuts and hit mobile phone networks while parts of the country are set to be buried in snow. Met Office forecaster Frank Saunders said parts of England and Wales are likely to see their coldest spell of weather since at least 2013. And possibly since 1991. This could lead to dangerous conditions on roads and pavements and have an impact on people's health. Up to 8 inches of snow will hit eastern England by Wednesday. Forecasters say, as the beast from the east sweeps in from Russia, and health officials warn the elderly and children to ensure they stay warm. Southeastern chose 6 p.m. as the cutoff time based on the forecast it has been given by meteorologists. And it is asking passengers to travel earlier to avoid being disrupted too much before the snow becomes heavier. And the weather could become even more extreme later this week as Storm Emma, which is forecast to hit Portugal on Wednesday, could potentially bring strong winds and further heavy snow to the UK on Thursday and Friday. Earlier this afternoon, commuters were complaining of Southeastern's website being down, with one traveler complaining to the firm, "Your website can't cope with demand. Just like the rest of your service." BA is offering passengers booked on short-haul flights between Monday and Friday the chance to rebook for travel on a later date up to March 21st free of charge. The beast from the east is a nickname given to cold and wintry conditions in Britain that are brought by easterly winds from the near continent. The UK normally experiences a polar continental air mass when pressure is high over Scandinavia. In winter, cold air is drawn in from the Eurasian landmass, bringing the cold weather from the beast from the east. The length of sea track during the air's passage from Europe to Britain will determine its characteristics. A short sea track over the English Channel will bring clear skies and severe frost, plus the cold and dry air. But a longer track over the North Sea makes the air unstable and moisture is added, maybe bringing rain and snow. The lowest temperatures in Britain normally happen in this air mass, falling to below -10 C 14 F at night and sometimes remaining sub-zero all day. Surface temperatures below freezing will make any snow drier because it contains less water, but wet snow comes from slightly warmer and moist air, which joins snowflakes together. A spokesman for the carrier said, "We are sorry that the weather this week is likely to lead to some delays and disruption to our schedules. It is likely at times we will have to proactively cancel some services and rebook customers onto alternative flights. Customers on cancelled services can also claim a full refund if they no longer wish to travel." Airports in Rome, Stockholm and Bergen were among those to suffer significant disruption to departures as Europe is hit by a blast of Siberian weather. Ryanair cancelled almost 50 flights departing or arriving from the Italian capital, including some serving the UK. But EasyJet said its UK flight schedule was unaffected by the weather. More than 70 flights traveling to or from the Canary Islands were disrupted when the region was hit by strong winds and rain on Sunday. Passengers were forced to spend the night at the airport waiting for flights at a Tesco Extra branch in Gillingham, Kent. Meanwhile, one customer took pictures of a 35-minute-long queue in the shop as she tried to pay for a box of porridge and told how shelves had been cleared of bread and other essentials. Healthcare assistant Charlotte Day, 24, of Medway, Kent, popped in with her 11-month-old son Mace to the packed store and claimed customers were barging past each other to fill their trolleys up with the essentials. Ms. Day said, "The snow started to come down a bit heavier and then all these people piled in. Shoppers were walking around with a panicked look on their faces. Some people had 6 or 7 loaves in their basket. People were pushing around. They weren't being polite about it. I went to grab the last loaf and someone who already had 6 in their trolley took it. The shelves were empty. I just couldn't believe how busy it was." Can County Council Highways said a snow emergency has been declared due to the severe weather conditions. "All of our resources will be focused on keeping the highways salted, clear and safe," a spokeswoman said. "We will be treating all primary routes throughout each day, but we do not clear footpaths or side roads. Salt bins are provided at key locations for you to use to clear the roads where it is safe to do so. We would ask that you only call us in an emergency and report non-urgent issues on our reporting tool. Please be aware that it may take us longer than usual to deal with non-emergency issues." Some Londoners, however, were disappointed today as they posted pictures of snow-free street, with one saying, "This is the most disappointing snow apocalypse ever. The dusting we got melted in an hour." Severe weather warnings have been in place since 4 p.m. today and for the rest of the week, with a yellow alert meaning be aware, predicting widespread snow showers across nearly the whole country tomorrow and on Wednesday. The Met Office has also issued an amber warning meaning be prepared and one below the highest red alert for some regions, including London, the South East and the Midlands, for the next 2 days. The Ministry of Defence has 3 battalions on standby to respond to weather-related emergencies, a spokesman said. "We have the right people, with the right training and the right equipment to help deal with any contingency," the Met Office website appeared to have been creaking under the strain of internet users rushing to it for updates this morning, with a section usually reserved for forecast maps simply stating error accessing map data. The AA said calls to its breakdown lines are up 50% today compared to usual levels, and workers are preparing for an increase at peak times in the northeast and east of England. It comes as tomorrow will bring persistent snow as the weather worsens, turning into the coldest start to March for more than 30 years. After temperatures of just -9.2 Celsius (15°F) were recorded in Scotland over the weekend. The cold weather has been so severe in the Brecon Beacons that an entire waterfall has been frozen solid today. Walkers in the Welsh National Park looked on in fascination as the waterfall near Pen y Fan Mountain was turned into ice amid the cold snap. Temperatures of -5 Celsius (23°F) in parts of Britain over the weekend were the lowest recorded in the week leading up to March 1st, the first day of spring since 1986. The wind chill, which could see parts of the UK feeling as cold as -15 C (5 Fahrenheit), rivals the temperatures forecast for parts of northern Norway and Iceland. Icicles formed on a frozen waterfall near Pen y Fan Mountain on Brecon Beacon National Park, Wales. Amid the severe cold weather, the entire waterfall was frozen after the cold snap called the Beast from the East hit the UK and sent temperatures plummeting. A close-up showing the ice at the waterfall near Pen y Fan Mountain in the Brecon Beacons National Park today. Walkers look on at the static waterfall and take photographs after cold weather froze the water overnight and created the odd sight, the wind chill, which could see parts of the UK feeling as cold as -15 C (5 Fahrenheit), rivals the temperatures forecast for parts of northern Norway and Iceland. Pictured, a walker stands by the frozen waterfall near Pen y Fan. Forecasters said there could be blizzards with winds of up to 45 miles per hour on Wednesday, with a prospect of rail, road and air disruption as well as the risk of power cuts as snow and ice bring down electricity lines. Mobile phone masts could also be put out of operation and some rural communities could be left cut off. Emergency services and transport authorities are already making preparations to minimize the consequences of the freezing weather, with councils sending out gridding teams to treat thousands of miles of roads. Charlie Powell from the Met Office said, "The UK is on track for some really cold weather. It's not going to be record-breaking. But it'll be pretty exceptional. Winds are going to make it feel -10 C, 14 F to -15 C, 5 F during the day. Winds are going to strengthen and we could see some easterly gales through the Eastern Channel and East Anglia by the middle of the week. That's going to make it feel really cold. Daytime temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday will be struggling to get above freezing. By Thursday evening, there are growing signs there could be some significant snowfall across southern England. Unusually for Britain, the snow is going to be quite dry, so it will blow around and gather in drifts and we could see some blizzard conditions. We don't want to scare people, but people should make sure they are prepared. All Greater Anglia trains will stop by 10 p.m. tonight with a reduced service running on its routes during the day between tomorrow and Thursday. The operator said it was limiting its services in anticipation of the snowy blast. A double-decker bus from Woolwich to Elmers End works its way through the snowy streets of southeast London's C2C services. Will operate normally until 9 p.m. tonight and passengers have been warned to expect alterations and cancellations. Southeastern urged passengers to finish their journeys before 6 p.m. to avoid potential disruption. One Twitter user joked that Greater Anglia was already cancelling trains in the hope that there will be some snow. While another told the Southeastern Customer Services team, "Bet you can't wait to start cancelling trains." Transport for London warned passengers in the capital to check ahead of their journeys as disruptions were possible on underground and overground services due to the low temperatures forecast. By the end of Wednesday, more than 8 in 20 centimeters of snow may have accumulated in parts of eastern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. The Met Office also warned power cuts may occur in some areas. The unusually bitter weather is the result of a cold front, dubbed the Beast from the East, sweeping in from the Eurasian Arctic. Health officials and the NHS have warned of the risks as temperatures plummet. Dr. Thomas Waite of Public Health England said, "Cold temperatures indoors and out pose real health risks to many, and every winter we know that thousands of people get ill and even die following exposure to cold conditions." Public Health England has issued a series of top tips for preparing for the cold weather as follows, including advice on stocking up on food and medicine before the blizzards blow in. It's critical that if you know anyone over 65 with young children or who has heart or lung conditions, that you keep an eye on them and think what help they may need. He said that staying warm by heating homes to at least 18 C, 65 F can be crucial to staying well. Senior medics have also warned the Beast from the East may put additional strain on an already grave situation in the NHS. The Society for Acute Medicine, which represents hospital specialists in acute medicine, said it had great concern for the NHS in the week ahead as snowy conditions grip the country. Dr. Nick Scriven, president of the society, said, "The onset of a spell of extremely cold weather is of great concern for acute medical units, who are already struggling with the widely reported stresses of this winter. Daily temperatures below the normal ambient level increase illness and hospital admission rates for cardiovascular and respiratory illnesses, particularly among those aged 65 and over. The NHS may also have to cancel thousands more non-urgent operations to cope with the severe cold weather." Senior medics have warned, with the number of occupied beds close to full capacity, the NHS faces a grave situation. The Society for Acute Medicine said yesterday the organization said it had great concern for the health service in the week ahead. Dr. Nick Scriven, president of the society which represents hospital doctors and nurses in acute medicine, said the ban on elective surgery at NHS trusts in January could return. It takes the pressure off local trusts. The onset of a spell of extremely cold weather is of great concern for acute medical units who are already struggling with the widely reported stresses of this winter, he said. Daily temperatures below the normal ambient level increase illness and hospital admission rates for cardiovascular and respiratory illnesses, particularly among those aged 65 and over. Dr. Scriven added that the NHS was suffering from dangerously high bed occupancy rates, 95% according to figures last week, so the situation is grave. It could bring staffing of the NHS to its knees. Jeremy Hunt has admitted this year is the worst ever winter crisis for the NHS. Public Health England urged people to help others and remember that staying warm helps keep you healthy. Critics likened the advice to saying don't wear flip-flops in the snow. The government watchdog, funded to the tune of £3.4 billion, said the comments help people think about what activities are appropriate. The warning states, with many places facing severe weather, it's really important people do what they need to stay warm. Heating homes to at least 18°C will help keep you healthy. Also, make sure you eat warm food. Move about at home and wear several thin layers instead of fewer thicker ones. If you know anyone over 65, or with young children or with heart or lung conditions, check to see if they're okay. Chris Snowdon of the Institute of Economic Affairs said, Public Health England's winter advice to turn on the heating and eat hot dinners is of a piece with its summer advice to open a window and drink water. It is a miracle this hectoring quango has made it through the austerity era unscathed. It badly needs cutting down to size. Chloe Wesley of the Taxpayers Alliance said, thank goodness for bureaucrats at Public Health England. Otherwise we'd all be eating ice cream and walking around in flip-flops in the snow. She added that money spent on such information campaigns could be better use on frontline healthcare. PHE's Dr. Thomas Wade admitted the advice was largely common sense, but added, it's always worth making the point as there are many people who will feel the effects of cold weather very much more acutely than others. These stunning pictures show how Britain's plunging temperatures have caused a part of the sea to freeze today. Photographs show the shoreline waters of the Bristol Channel at Weston-super-Mare in Somerset freezing over as the beast from the east moved in. Ian Hurd, 48, who took the images, said, I was out walking along the seafront with my partner Callan and we could see a long white line at the high water line. We were amazed to discover that there was a long swath of ice crystals built up on the sand where the tide had come in overnight and frozen. Now we are just waiting for the snow. Ocean water freezes just like fresh water would at 0°C 32°F. But the temperature must drop to -2°C 28°F before it starts to happen due to the salt in it. Seawater becomes progressively more dense as it becomes colder, right down to its freezing point. While the ice in frozen seawater contains very little salt because only the water section of it freezes, it is unusual for parts of the sea to freeze on the English coast even in the depths of winter. Although it did happen in 2009 when sub-zero temperatures froze a half-mile stretch of sea off sandbanks in Dorset. The sea also froze over at Herne Bay, Kent, in December 1962, during one of the coldest winters on record in Britain. Last week's performance figures showed an 11% rise on the previous week in influenza admissions, along with sustained dangerously high bed occupancy rates. So the situation is grave. Drawing on figures from NHS Improvement, which showed a large deficit and high job vacancy rates in the health service, he added, there is little on the horizon in the way of optimism for the future state of the acute services given the massive staffing issues and strain on resources made evident this last week. So far this winter we have seen the NHS survive on the goodwill and effort of hard-pressed staff of all levels who have gone the extra mile to ensure safe and high-quality treatment in the most difficult of circumstances. However, the challenges keep increasing, and this week is another example of how the authorities simply cannot gamble on hard-working staff saving the day. It is not sustainable or fair and will be the downfall of our health service. An armed police officer wraps up warm against the elements as snow falls at Downing Street in Westminster this morning. Ella Colley, winter expert at Haffords, said, with sub-zero temperatures expected for the start of the week and snow and ice forecast for most areas, we're advising drivers to check their car batteries. Using your car's heater and lights will place greater demand on your battery, and this combined with sub-zero temperatures could result in a less than positive start to Monday morning. It's also worth preparing your car with a quick health check by checking screen wash, tire pressure, and keeping extra clothes, warm drinks, and your mobile phone handy. Some experts predict that the freezing temperatures could last well into March. Meteorological spring begins on Thursday. The wintry blast of freezing temperatures has already claimed 4 lives across Europe and is endangering the homeless. In France, where temperatures were forecast to drop to -10°C 14°F, fears ran high for people living on the streets. A homeless man in Valence was found dead yesterday, and another man was found dead in his cabin in Paris on Friday. Russia itself was not spared, with its meteorological service warning of abnormally cold temperatures until Wednesday and temperatures in the Moscow region expected to fall to -24°C (-11°F). and -35°C, -31°F in the center of the country. Piazza del Popolo, the People's Square, in Rome, Italy, is seen covered in snow this morning as Europe is hit by bad weather. 2 people died of the cold in Poland on Friday night. And frigid temperatures are also forecast throughout Germany, with a low of -22°C, -8°F in some alpine valleys in Bavaria today. Schools will be closed today due to the snow in Rome, with -6°C, 21°F forecast last night in Austria. Temperatures will drop below -20°C, 4°F at night and feel even colder. It will feel like -30°. Stefan Kiesenhofer of the Austrian Meteorological Service ZAMG said. A cold snap like this comes every 7 to 10 years, he added. Hungary has been on alert since Saturday. While heavy snow closed some schools in Croatia on Saturday, schools were also closed in Romania's capital Bucharest, as well as 3 areas in the country's south, amid lows of -20°C, -4°F. Spain's weather agency warned of significant snowfall on the Iberian Peninsula and the Balearic Islands. But a brave few did take advantage of the Siberian chill, with some adventurous Dutch ice skaters taking to the country's canals and lakes. Dutch authorities have strongly discouraged skating on natural bodies of water, but said conditions may be more favorable after a few chilly days in the north of the country for those keen to emulate their Winter Olympians. The freezing temperature also did not prevent a few hundred swimmers jumping into the Meuse River, which was 3°C, 37°F, while it was -2°C, 28°F outside in Huy, Belgium, yesterday. But below average temperatures are not forecast everywhere. Many areas across Europe could be colder than the North Pole this week, with the temperature at Cape Morris Jesup Weather Station at the top of Greenland having risen above freezing several times since mid-February. Snow has hit Britain along with sub-zero temperatures today, leaving many workers shivering on their way to work and in the office. Some parts of the UK are set to feel colder than the Arctic Circle as freezing temperatures brought by the beast from the east continue into the week ahead. Train services are expected to be delayed, and the Met Office has issued amber weather warnings for much of the country tomorrow and on Wednesday. But Twitter users have poked fun at the cold weather, referencing films including Frozen and Groundhog Day and TV series such as Friends and The Simpsons. Others posted videos of cold-looking cats while people did their best to make light of the temperatures, which could feel as cold as -15°C, 5°F in some parts of Britain. Some internet jokers also told of how it reminded them of the American wrestler Bam Bam Bigelow, who was once billed as the Beast of the East. Others decided to mock the reaction in the country to the cold weather, with jokes including a photograph of a man hoarding supplies titled "Just Seen a Snowflake."
Where the freaks at?